Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. I'm going to be tracking a blizzard as well as severe weather here in this video going through the rest of this week, as well as a northeast snowstorm across portions of New England as we go into this weekend, followed by an Arctic invasion, some of the coldest air of the season moving into the central and eastern United States as we head into Christmas week, and also your travel plans for the Christmas holiday timeframe. All of that and much more coming up here in this video. If you guys are new to the channel and have not yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell. It's free to do, and you get all of my daily weather forecast content here on this channel. I cover Canada, the United States, and the tropics and everything in between. So everybody hit that subscribe button down below and the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates here on this channel. Looking here out the door this morning, just above, we have that satellite imagery, very strong low pressure system across Nebraska and South Dakota here this morning. We got that cold air on the backside of the system wrapping around that upper level low, bringing all the heavy snowfall and those blizzard-like conditions across the Dakotas into the north central Rockies. But we have that strong cold front across the Ohio River Valley, extending down there toward the Gulf Coast, bringing heavy rainfall and severe weather across those areas here through the next couple of days. And just that system is very large, affecting a lot of people here across the center of the country, and this will be spreading eastward as we head here into this upcoming week. So look here at the the jet stream. We have that large dip in the jet stream here across the middle of the country, and that's that storm system we've been talking about. That's going to continue to move its way off to the east toward the eastern seaboard through the next couple of days. But looking here at the severe weather reports across portions of the deep south and the Gulf Coast states, we had lots of reports of severe weather, actually 12 tornado reports, a few of those across northeast and east Texas, and a lot of those across northern Louisiana here in that enhanced risk area from yesterday. We had 17 wind reports, 6 hail reports, with 2 of those being 2 inches of diameter or higher, especially there into North Texas and northern Louisiana. And again, for a total of 35 severe weather reports here at least. These could be coming in fast and furious today as well as we get more reports here from some of the aftermath of the severe weather here that happened from yesterday. But yeah, definitely talking about that continued severe weather outbreak across the Gulf Coast states in the southeast. We got another enhanced risk for severe weather, a level 3 of 5 across portions of New Orleans, getting into southern Mississippi there, getting into southern Alabama and northwest Florida. We definitely could be talking about some widespread severe weather possible as we head through the day today. Looking at those hazards out there, we have that 5 to even that 10% enhatched area for tornadoes across portions of Louisiana, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, and northwest Florida. This includes New Orleans, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, getting up there toward the Mobile, Alabama area, Panama City, Florida as well, and then getting over there toward Tallahassee. So if you guys are under those areas, we could have a strong long track tornado or two possible later on today. We also have that 5 to 15% shading here for wind potential that could be over 60 miles per hour, and then that lower end threat for some quarter size hail potential going through the day today as well. The reason for this, we got all that moisture streaming up to the north across the portions of the deep south from the Gulf of Mexico. Dew points will be rising through the 50s and into the mid 60s, if not near 70 degrees across the immediate Gulf Coast later on this afternoon. That's going to provide plenty of instability, plenty of fuel for these storms to work with. We also have a very strong and potent mid-level jet here moving in from the west-southwest across these areas, and a very strong southerly low-level jet as well. So you got this turning of the winds with height and speed here as well. You got the winds coming in with that mid-level jet out of the west-southwest, and then that low-level jet, and at the surface coming out of the south, we got that turning of winds with height and that speed shear out there with these low-level jet winds around 60 knots is going to provide plenty of fuel for those supercell thunderstorms along this line of storms. So looking here, as we get toward the noon time frame here today at 12 o'clock this afternoon, we got that squall line of showers and storms moving across Mississippi, northern Alabama, back into Louisiana. Again, some of these storms out ahead of the main line will have to be watched for tornado potential here, as they'll be more discreet and could characterize supercells as well. And then as this moves to the east here through the afternoon to the evening hours through Alabama here through the Tuscaloosa area, Birmingham, getting all the way down there towards portions of Mobile, Alabama, and toward the New Orleans region, rain. We could be talking about large hail, damaging winds, and yes, some embedded tornadoes along the leading edge of this line of storms. That will continue to press its way to the east toward the Atlanta metro, getting into portions of Georgia, northwest Florida, down there toward Panama City as we head into the overnight hours and into Thursday morning. Also with this as well, we have heavy rainfall. That's going to be a big issue as well. We got widespread rainfall amounts in the red and orange shaded colors, anywhere from 2 to 4 inches, and locally even higher than that across especially Mississippi, Alabama, getting into northern Georgia here. So definitely lots of heavy rain on the way across the deep south and the southeast here through the next 24 hours. That's why the Weather Prediction Center has maintained that slight risk for excessive rainfall, but it's actually upgraded to a moderate risk for excessive rainfall with widespread flash flooding possible from eastern Louisiana through south central Mississippi into far western Alabama, going through the day today and into your Thursday morning with widespread rainfall amounts over 3 inches, and locally could be up to near 6 inches possible in some of these areas in that moderate risk zone for excessive rainfall. But then as we go into the day tomorrow on your Thursday, that severe weather threat continues to march off to the east with that cold front here. We got that marginal risk of severe weather across the Outer Banks there, the Carolinas. We got that slight risk for severe weather down there toward Myrtle Beach, getting down towards Savannah, Georgia, Jacksonville Beach, Florida, getting down there toward Tampa as well, and Orlando. Do be on the lookout for some large hail, damaging winds, and maybe some isolated tornadoes across those areas as well going through the day on Thursday. But meanwhile, we got the northern side of the system to talk about here with the ongoing winter storm warnings and blizzard warnings there in the purples and pinks up there and oranges up across the northern plains into the upper Midwest. Lots of snowfall here that did accumulate. The past 24 hours, we've seen a swath of about 12 to 20 inches of snow across portions of western Nebraska, getting through central South Dakota and into southeastern North Dakota, and this will continue to spread its way farther to the north and east across Minnesota and eventually into Wisconsin. And we're also going to be adding more to these totals through the next 12 to 24 hours across portions of the Dakotas and getting into western Minnesota. Again, we have those snow bands that are going to be setting up here across portions of the Dakotas, spreading into northern Minnesota, even into parts of southern Manitoba, southwestern Ontario, and then again into northern Wisconsin, Lake Superior there as well. We could be seeing some lake effect snowfall there as well across northwest Wisconsin and far northeastern Minnesota, so we'll continue to watch that. And then as we go through the day on Thursday, all this snowfall will be spreading up across the upper Great Lakes as we head into the morning hours on Thursday, providing more accumulating snow across those areas. So looking here at the next 24 hours or so, and next 24 to 36 hours, we're going to be talking about widespread snowfall amounts here, anywhere from 6 to 12 inches or more across portions of the Dakotas, getting in through north central Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, even a heavier band of some snowfall here lining up across far northwestern Wisconsin and far northeastern Minnesota near Lake Superior there, and that's where we could see over 2 feet of snowfall potentially in some localized areas with some of that lake effect snow through the next 24 to 36 hours. Also on the backside of the system, we got to watch for those northerly and northwesterly winds roaring in from Canada all the way down through the Great Plains. We could be talking about sustained winds between 20 and 30 miles per hour, and even higher gusts than that across these areas. In the reds and these yellows here, we could be talking about wind gusts over 50 miles per hour in some spots, even locally up to 60 miles per hour across portions of South Dakota, getting into western and central Nebraska, into the Colorado Rockies and western portions of Kansas as well. So definitely a lot of wind out there. And even across the Midwest and Great Lakes without the snowfall, it's still going to be pretty windy out there from Chicago back up through Wisconsin and all the surrounding areas as well, Detroit and portions of Michigan. Yeah, we're going to be talking about lots of wind out there going through the next 24 hours. Hey, if you guys like this video, definitely press the thumbs up button down below. If you guys like the video so far, definitely helps out to get this information out to more and more people, so I definitely appreciate that. But looking here through the next couple of days, going through late this week, we got another low pressure system that's going to start to develop here off that subtropical jet across the eastern seaboard and up through the northeast here. And that's where we're going to start to see more snow and even some ice potential start to develop across portions of the mid-Atlantic, moving up through New England as we head into the next couple of days going into this upcoming weekend. That will spread its way up toward Maine and even eastern Canada as we get through this weekend on Saturday and into Sunday before moving out Sunday night across those areas. And already seeing some winter storm watches already across portions of the Northeast, getting into Vermont, New Hampshire, all the way down here through New York, northern portions of Pennsylvania. We even have some winter weather advisories down the spine of the Appalachians here into portions of Maryland, western New Jersey, and even some ice storm warnings here in the purple shaded colors across West Virginia, northern Virginia, getting into southwestern portions of Pennsylvania. That's where we can see over a quarter of an inch of ice. So definitely take it easy out there if you do have to travel. And I do suspect that a lot of these winter storm watches will actually be upgraded to winter storm warnings. And actually these winter storm warnings should actually reach up into portions of Maine, getting into Massachusetts and potentially Connecticut in the coming days as the system gets a little bit closer. So looking here as we get into Thursday morning, we got that strong icing potential here with some freezing rain and sleet starting to fall across portions of central and southwestern PA here across Pennsylvania, getting down through the spine of the Appalachians here. You got the colder air at the surface, but just above here in the low levels, we have the warmer air. So it's going to be falling as rainfall here, liquid rainfall, and then kind of, freezing on contact once it hits those bridges, overpasses, those roadways, your windshields outside on your vehicles. So definitely keep an eye out for that here across portions of Pennsylvania, northern Virginia, West Virginia, getting into Maryland there going into Thursday morning. And looking at the ice potential here, we could be seeing a quarter to even half an inch of ice, if not locally more. We could be approaching 3/4 of an inch of ice across some of these areas. I know some of these areas are showing over an inch of ice. That might be a little bit of contamination from sleet and rainfall here, but I do think anywhere from a quarter of an inch to up to 3/4 of an inch of ice is definitely likely and on the table here across Pennsylvania, getting into northern Virginia, West Virginia, and portions of Maryland there through the next couple of days. And then that snowfall will start to spread its way up a little bit farther up into upstate New York, getting into northeastern Pennsylvania, getting into New Jersey, especially northern New Jersey Thursday afternoon, and that'll spread its way up here into portions of Vermont, New Hampshire, northeastern portions of New York, and then up into southeastern Canada into Quebec as we get into the day on Friday. And same thing Friday night and going into Saturday, spreading its way up towards Maine and again into portions of the eastern Canadian provinces going in towards this upcoming weekend. But looking at the snowfall swath across the Northeast from Pennsylvania all the way up through New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, getting up through Maine, western Massachusetts, pretty formidable snowfall here across these areas. We're going to need the snow blowers and shovels out there. We're going to be seeing over a foot of snow possible in some of these areas into upstate New York, getting into Vermont, New Hampshire, maybe western Massachusetts, and then getting up into western portions there of Maine through this weekend. So definitely, like I said, going to need those snow blowers and those shovels out there across those areas. But behind this system, it's all about the cold air, guys. This could be the coldest air of the season, and it looks likely to be as we have through the December 19th through the 23rd timeframe of likely below normal temperatures across much of the lower 48, and that actually takes us through Christmas as well, and really toward the very end of December, especially across the center of the country and across the eastern side of the country as well, really centered across the Midwest here through that Christmas time frame. And we got that positive P&A starting to show up across California with those above normal temperatures across much of the California coast there, going into western Nevada during that period for Christmas. And again, looking at that positive P&A starting to show up here, trending positive here. We're near zero for the next couple of days, but then we're going to be trending toward 1, even 2 on the scale here. So P&A, that's the Pacific North American, and that's what we're going to be looking at, trending positive with those warmer conditions. And also the AO index here, the Arctic Oscillation, is going to be trending very negative here, and that's going to be pulling down all that cold air with that polar vortex here in the coming days. And looking up to the north, we got that perfect setup here, guys. We got that high pressure system here working all the way down here across central and western Canada with a 1,045 to even 1,050 millibar high pressure system as we get into early next week. And And look at how strong this is, guys. Across northwest Canada, we could have a 1,075 millibar high pressure system, and that's going to really force all that cold air farther south with that strong blocking pattern up to the north. So definitely a very strong push of cold air as we get through, especially the middle and late portion of next week. And the climate forecasting systems model has been indicating this for some time now, and I do like this model. It's pretty accurate, and you do see that very strong spill of cold Arctic air with an Arctic invasion getting into portions of the upper Midwest and into the southern plains even as we get towards that Christmas week time frame and through Christmas Day as well. And it does have some staying power, especially with all that snowpack up to the north across Canada, into Alaska, into the northern plains and upper Midwest here and across the Northeast. All of that snowpack is going to work to, make this air mass a lot colder as it moves across the southern United States as well. So we'll continue to watch that here as it gets a little bit closer. But look at the temperatures going into Monday, December 19th. These are your high temperatures. While we'll still be kind of mild across the southern United States on Monday, we got all that cold air starting to invade into the northeastern and northern United States across southern Canada on Monday. Negative high temperatures across those areas. As we get into the day on Tuesday, again, we got negative high temperatures across much of southern Canada from British Columbia to Ontario, much of the northern plains and upper Midwest. Still those mild temperatures hanging around across the Ohio, Tennessee River valleys, and much of the southern plains. But watch as we get toward Thursday, that Arctic push of air is going to be very strong. A very strong Arctic cold front will be moving through, and we'll be dropping those temperatures back into the 20s and teens down into Kansas, Missouri, getting down here into Oklahoma, into Illinois. But then look at, these are high temperatures on Thursday, December 22nd. Yeah, we could be minus 20, minus 25, minus 30 degrees, guys, in some of these higher elevations in the northern Rockies and into southern Canada as we get towards late next week. And that's not even factoring in the wind chill. If we factor in the wind chill with this, we could see 50 to even 55 below wind chills here Fahrenheit across these areas. That is very, very, very cold, guys. I do expect some wind chill advisories and also some wind chill warnings as we get a little bit closer. 50 to 55 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit is very, very dangerous, and we'll continue to watch that as we get closer. But during this period, we also have to watch here, as all of you guys know, that we have all the cold air in place, but what about the snow? We could be talking about some snowfall potentially toward the middle and late portion of next week. Some of the guidance is kind of hinting at that. We do have that cross-polar flow that's going to start to move farther southward. We got that active polar jet that's going to be moving in across the Intermountain West and across the southern plains, and that could be setting up maybe some clipper type systems across the Pacific Northwest, dropping in across the northern plains and maybe into the upper Midwest here during this period. We might have an active period of weather across the eastern side of the country as well, from Maine all the way to Florida. But with that positive PNA that I was just showing you across California and the Southwest, we're going to see a lot of below normal precipitation favored across especially California into Arizona, but actually that will be spreading across Texas and potentially into the Ohio Valley during that Christmas week time frame. So I'm not really expecting a lot of snowfall, to be quite honest with you guys, across the southern plains, the Tennessee Valley, or really even the Ohio Valley during the week of Christmas here. So if you guys are hoping for a white Christmas, I am hoping that you guys get something here for Christmas, but right now the prospects for a white Christmas, if you live in Texas or the desert Southwest or even the Ohio Valley, are actually kind of dwindling here. So we'll continue to watch that in the coming days. So looking at this going into early next week, we got that clipper system dropping out of Canada here from Alberta and British Columbia into the Pacific Northwest on your Tuesday. That'll spread eastward here as well as we get into Wednesday with that trailing Arctic cold front as well, getting into the central plains and the upper Midwest on Wednesday. That will move its way to the east here with a quick shot of snow across the Great Lakes and the upper Midwest on Thursday, with some rain ahead of that across the Tennessee Valley and the eastern side of the country going into late next week. And again, looking here at the next several days going all the way through Christmas Eve, this is your snowpack out there, guys. We got lots of mountain snow expected across the Pacific Northwest. That snowpack will remain across the northern plains, the upper Midwest as well, and then some very heavy snow is expected here across New England and much of the Northeast and into southern Canada during this period. But Anywhere farther south of here, guys, just keep crossing your fingers. Hopefully we get some snowfall, but right now, the chances of getting a white Christmas if you live anywhere south of Kansas, Missouri, or into the Tennessee Valley are really, really slim as it looks right now. So we'll continue to watch as we get a little bit closer here towards next week. But thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely like the video down below if you did like it with the thumbs up. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those later on today. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates here on this channel. And guys, have a great Wednesday out there, and I'll see you all in the next video.